You're listening to The Cultured Bumpkin, a literature podcast with Jake Phillips, where we present audiobook quality readings of the classics for your enjoyment. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, just because you're a bumpkin doesn't mean you can't be cultured. Hey, thanks for dropping by The Cultured Bumpkin. Today we're going to read a little Ralph Waldo Emerson. He lived from 1803 to 1882. It was his lifespan. There was a lot of things that happened during his life. He was 6 years older than Abraham Lincoln. He would have heard about the War of 1812, I suppose, as a 9-year-old. He would have heard about the Alamo, read about that in 1836 in the papers. He would have probably read Edgar Allan Poe in the late 1840s. He would have heard the saber rattling leading up to the Civil War, 1861 to 1865. That would have been a daily thing that he read about in the papers. I'm sure he heard about Custer falling, being defeated by the Confederated tribes, Plains tribes, in June of 1876. So he saw a lot. He saw a lot of transition in American history, and he was really a philosophical leader, and he exerted a lot of influence on American literature. And through both his rhetoric of his lectures and his writing, he brought a great transcendentalist force into American thought, and he influenced the way Americans thought about stuff. And this is kind of a historical poem, and it commemorates the Battle of Concord, and it actually was fought on land owned by Emerson's step-grandfather or something like that. And so he's really talking about home. I mean, almost the birthplace of American independence was right in his backyard. So I'm sure this is very near and dear to his heart. And it goes like this. By the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. Here once the embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard round the world. The foe long since in silence slept. Alike the conqueror silent sleeps, and time the ruined bridge has swept down the dark stream which seaward creeps. On this green bank, by this soft stream, we set today a votive stone, that memory may their deed redeem, when like our sires our sons are gone. Spirit that made those heroes dare to die and leave their children free, bid time and nature gently spare the shaft we raise to them and thee. That was actually a hymn that was sung. I don't know what the tune was, but it was sung at the completion of the battle monument, which was, the ceremony was on July 4th, 1837, when they, dedicated this monument. And, he was the local hometown writer, I suppose, and he wrote this great hymn, which makes a great poem. And I love the history of the American Revolution. And that was a very interesting day in American history. And I love the line, fired the shot heard round the world. That was kind of, there was a lot of rumblings before that, and there was some stuff that had gone on, but that was kind of when, the war started to a lot of historians. That's sort of the event that marks the American Revolution was April 19th, 1775. Anyway, a great poem. I love the historical aspect of it. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I would be most honored and delighted if you would subscribe to The Cultured Bumpkin, maybe leave a nice little review, and tell a friend or two or three about it. There's a lot of people out there that love literature, and I really like connecting with them. It's like a great way to connect with people that maybe you don't have anything in common with them. You might not have hung out with them normally, but you both love poetry, or you love, sort of classic literature from American history, or, a lot of the English poets, that kind of thing. Whatever it might be, it's a great way to connect with people. And I always like doing that, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube. By the way, you can leave my stuff in the bio. You can follow me there if you like, or see some other stuff I've done. And if you want to send in a request or just say hey, I'll drop my email down there too. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you very much for listening. You've been listening to The Cultured Bumpkin, a literature podcast with Jake Phillips. Thank you very much for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, would you mind going and subscribing and leaving a nice review on whatever podcast platform you heard this on? I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.